Jeff's been getting a lot of questions lately on Rolling On Live about properly setting up your tow vehicle. On today's show, Jeff shows us how he set up his Nissan pickup to handle just about any trailer in his tow rating. Then, our friends over at RV Education 101 show us all about RV pivot points and how to use them. And Jeff shows us the Scotty, another small retro type trailer that just hit the market. These stories and more on this week's Rollin' On TV. Rollin' On TV is brought to you by Carefree of Colorado, celebrating 45 years of RV awning innovation. Closed and Spanish captioning, where available, is sponsored by Jayco. At Jayco, we've been making family dreams come true since 1968.
Today, it's easy to buy a vehicle that's ready for towing right from the showroom floor. But if you have a vehicle without towing gear and you want to haul a trailer, it's fairly easy to outfit your ride with the necessary towing hardware. We'll show you how. Item number 1 on our project list is a hitch receiver. Now, your vehicle may come equipped with a bumper that has a ball mount on it, but do yourself a favor. Get yourself a hitch receiver. It's a lot stronger and safer way to tow. Now, we're using this particular model from Draw Type, Sequin Industries. It comes powder coated black for extreme resistance to corrosion and rust and so on. Fully welded, very strong unit. The Hitch Pro guys will have this mounted up in no time. If you're handy with tools, you can install the receiver yourself, but it helps to have a friend to wrestle it into place because it's fairly awkward and heavy. Most receivers bolt to the rear frame, and fishing the bolts into place in a boxed-in frame can be a challenge, which is where experienced installers can make the job easier. The trailer wiring plug often fastens to the receiver, so installing it is the next step after the receiver is in place. The plug needs to be fairly close to the receiver and easily accessible when connecting the trailer. Routing the plug wiring forward to the engine compartment and into the cab calls for making sure it's in safe locations, where it won't be damaged by moving parts or burned by hot exhaust system components. Zip ties and protective wire sleeves are used throughout to secure the lines and guard against damage. A bit of extra time at this stage pays off later in reliability. Excess wiring is neatly bundled with zip ties and electrical tape. With the wiring in place, we move on to the brake control. The brake control we're using is a Tekonsha Model P3, kind of a higher end product. This will handle as many as 4 axles, which is a lot more than our little Nissan truck can take. Has the usual manual brake application lever on the bottom for emergency trailer braking. And it has a digital readout here. And this unit can be customized. It has a memory, so you can program it for towing characteristics for up to 5 different trailers. Plus, the readout gives you all kinds of different diagnostic feedback information about the trailer. Short circuits, excess power drain, open circuits, and so on. It's a pretty handy unit. It's going to work pretty well for this application. It's important to choose the right spot for the brake control.
So with the brake control, there's a couple things you want to do before you get ready to mount it. You want to look at areas that's going to be accessible. You want to keep it out of your knees. Generally on the left-hand side is going to be getting hit with your knee a lot. So to the right side is the best place to place. You want it high enough to reach, but not too low that's out of reach.
The controller bracket and the brake control screw in place under the dash. Then the wiring harness plugs in for the final connection. The P3 information screen gives you easy access to adjusting the display and its color, the type of trailer brakes, a help menu with language and other parameters, plus a variety of other towing-related important information. It also warns if the trailer is disconnected.
So there's a left turn signal, that's coming out of the plug. There's a right turn.
The Hitch Pro test box verifies that all the wiring is in order. When it comes to outfitting your tow vehicle, you have a virtually unlimited array of gadgets and accessories you can add. In the performance arena, not an awful lot of those accessories have what you would call a 100% guarantee of return on investment. Well, Bilstein shock absorbers are about as close as you can come to that kind of return on investment and guaranteed performance. Bilsteins are the replacement shock of choice for an awful lot of motor vehicle owners. That includes tow vehicles for RVs, motor homes, performance automobiles, off-road driving enthusiasts, you name them. There's a Bilstein shock designed specifically to fit just about every vehicle out there. And it's no one-size-fits-all either. Each shock is specifically engineered and valved to fit the type of vehicle it's going on. Bilstein shocks are made in Germany, so they have that touch of precision German engineering. They're a monotube design, they have a gas pressure chamber, and that gas chamber, along with precision valving, allows the shocks to help maintain rebound and jounce control. When you put these on your vehicle, you almost immediately will notice an improvement in ride and handling, cornering, braking, and so forth. In the long run, Bilsteins also help to reduce tire wear because it helps to control tire rebound, keeps them in contact with the pavement where they belong instead of scuffing up and down. Now, of course, we've already added our receiver, brake control, and wiring. So Bilstein shocks are one of the 3 other items we're going to be adding to our truck to bring it fully up to speed to get it ready for towing smaller trailers. Let's take a look at how it's done. We'll talk about safety and finish the towing setup after the break, so stay tuned.
Simply put, Thetford's Aquachem has outsold all its competitors combined because it's the strongest holding tank deodorant available. It provides the strongest odor control around the clock in all temperatures and conditions. It quickly liquefies waste and tissue and is 100% biodegradable. Aquachem, the industry standard for 50 years. For more information, visit Thetford.com. Aquachem, another great product from Thetford.
We didn't make the majestic mountains, or the rugged terrain, or paint the night sky, but we make it possible to see it all. Road Trek, America's #1 selling touring coach for over 25 years. Built with quality so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the destinations you want. Enjoy the peace of mind that only a Road Trek can provide.
Welcome back to Rollin' On TV. Before the break, we began our story about setting up a vehicle with the right towing hardware. Now we'll continue with installing the shock absorbers and other gear. Safety is foremost when working on a vehicle. We always chock the tires and, depending on the situation, we use jack stands plus stacks of wood blocks as backup safety setups. Installing shock absorbers is usually a fairly easy do-it-yourself project. At times, you need to temporarily move a nearby item, such as this sway bar mount, that's in the way of removing the shock. Most shock absorbers use simple mounting bolts or studs to hold them in place, so changing them is a matter of unbolting the old and replacing them with the new. A shot of spray lubricant helps the new rubber bushings slide smoothly onto the mounting studs. Rubber mounting eyes here to help them slide on the mounting pins a little easier. Pressure at an angle to get this. Bilsteins are gas pressurized, so they need to be compressed a bit to fit them in place, and this can take a bit of muscling around. We left the rear tires in place for the rear shock job, but we removed the front tires for easier shock access. A top stud and bottom bolt hold the front shocks in place. Replacement with the new Bilsteins is a fairly easy remove and install process. We're not going to be cluttering up our truck with every possible bolt-on accessory in the book. However, we're adding just a few things that we feel really enhance the towing experience. One of those things is airbags for the rear axle. The airbags mount over the axle to the frame on your truck. And what these do is provide extra support for the weight that you're carrying in the back of the truck. Now, if you're towing a small trailer and you have a weight distributing hitch with the spring bars properly adjusted, you won't have a significant amount of sag in back because the distributing hitch moves the weight of the tongue to the rear and the front axle of the truck equally. That's what a weight distributing hitch is all about. But if you're going to be carrying a load in the back of your truck, for example, a truck camper, a slide-in camper of some kind, maybe a fifth wheel hitch where all of the weight is directly over the rear axle, or for that matter, if you're not towing anything and you want to bring home a load of bark dust chips, that's where airbags can be a big help. One of the big advantages to airbags like this is you adjust the air pressure to match the load. When you're running solo and you don't need that extra firm support in back, you let the air pressure down and you still have the smooth ride out of your truck. When you're going to be carrying weight, you add air pressure, and that allows you to carry the weight without sagging the back end of the truck. Now these guys, for example, this Sport-Rite kit is rated to carry as much as 3,000 pounds per pair of bags. That obviously would far exceed the capacity of this little Nissan truck, but that means that we have a lot of flexibility in there for how much pressure we need to put in. There are a few things that airbags like this will not do for your vehicle. Number one, they will not increase your tow rating. Number two, they do not increase your gross vehicle weight rating. Number three, they do not increase your gross axle weight rating. Those figures are all established by a series of proving ground tests and performance evaluations that allow a manufacturer to certify the truck for a certain capacity for all those figures. Now this Firestone Sport-Rite kit includes all the pieces you need for an installation. All the bracketry, small hardware, air hoses, and so on. The manufacturer claims this is a bolt-on kit with no drilling. Well, we'll see how that goes when we get started on it here. With the brackets bolted to the airbags, we used the upper jounce bumper bolts to secure the assembly in place on the truck's frame. Adding the lower bracket strap is also an easy bolt-on assembly to the leaf spring pack. With that, the airbag is installed. The air hose is a simple press-fit connection with the airbag fitting and the air filling valve. Protecting the air lines is important, especially where raw metal edges are close to the line. So we used rubber tubing and the kit's heat shield braided cover, plus zip ties to keep the air lines intact and leak-free. We chose a well-protected but accessible spot at the back of the bed for the air inflation valve. The final check for leaks is a bubble test with soapy water. The system passed, so it's ready for the road. Well, that's about it for setting up our little Nissan for towing. With a few pieces of properly selected equipment, and it's not particularly expensive, you too can have a vehicle that's just right for towing your favorite trailer. For more information about what you've seen on this segment or anywhere else in the show, log on to our website at rollinontv.com.
Coming up after the break, we'll join Mark and Don Polk from RV Education 101 and learn all about pivot points. We'll be right back. Someone once said, the camping doesn't really start until the RV awning comes out. Whoever said that really knew what they were talking about. Carefree of Colorado, celebrating 45 years of RV awning innovation. For more information, visit our website at carefreeofcolorado.com. Never run out of propane again. With Level Check, there's no more guesswork. Just run the gauge over the tank, and when the light turns from red to green, you'll know exactly how much propane you have left. It's that simple. Level Check, another great product from Truma. For more information, Visit levelcheck.com.
If there is one RV driving mistake that leads to more accidents at the gas pump and in other tight maneuvering situations, it's tail swing. Tail swing is when the rear of the RV behind the pivot point swings out in the opposite direction you're turning in. Let's see what you can do to prevent tail swing from being a problem. Tail swing is the distance the body of the coach behind the pivot point moves in the opposite direction of the front when you make a turn. To establish what your tail swing is, stop your coach with the side of the coach parked along a straight line. Then make a full lock turn away from the line and have somebody measure the maximum tail swing as you make the turn. Depending on the type of RV you have, the tail swing could be 15 inches to 30 plus inches. My RV has a 31-inch tail swing. In general, a newer chassis will turn sharper, which equates to more tail swing. A common thought is that tail swing damage would be the most frequent type of damage to an RV, but after talking to some RV service departments, they see tail swing damage as the second most common type of damage. The most common area damaged while driving an RV is the upper right corner of the vehicle. This is caused from crowned roads and poles that are set close to the side of the roadway. Well, there you have it. Knowing how much tail swing your RV has can help prevent accidents, especially at the gas pump. This RV driving skills tip is from our Drive Your Motorhome Like a Pro DVD. Happy camping.
At Jayco, we're a lot more than just an RV manufacturer. We're all about family. And we've been making family dreams come true since 1968. To see our complete product line and find your nearest Jayco dealer, visit us online at jayco.com or just log on to rollinontv.com. When you have a Truma AquaGo instant hot water system, you can expect to make a lot of new friends. Rollin' On TV and Thetford are giving away 6 LX model Smart Tote 2s, one each week for 6 weeks starting July 1st. To enter, just visit our website at rollinontv.com and click on the Smart Tote 2 LX contest page and sign up for the drawings. Now, isn't that simple?
Well, there seems to be no slowing down in the interest in vintage trailers these days. A lot of trailer manufacturers have some kind of a vintage component in their product line, either vintage style or a complete reproduction. Well, Little Guy Trailers has recently reintroduced a line that was really popular starting back in the 50s and 60s. Little Guy has brought back the Cerro Scotty. Our featured Scotty is the 16 BHR that's about 18 feet 7 inches long. Small vehicle towability is easy given its 2,590 pound dry weight. This new Scotty model is configured very much like most of the lightweight trailers today. Unlike the true vintage style, which are the canned ham with the rounded front and back, this has the usual body configuration, the clipped off back end, the front end that is nicely curved for aerodynamics, which is good. Up front here on the tongue area, you have a 20-gallon propane tank, spaced where you could fit one Group 24 or a bigger Group 27 battery, but it probably isn't wide enough for 2 batteries. You could also put a 30-pound tank on here pretty easily if you're going to be staying out a little bit longer. And this unit is built very much like the older style trailers. For example, we've got the corrugated aluminum siding, this color band, which is sort of a diamond patterned aluminum and more corrugated. And this is very similar to what you would find on an early vintage trailer, which is more of a single color stripe or band as opposed to all the swoops and whatnot that you see on most of them today. aluminum on the front that wraps up over the roof. The walls are built, it's all framed in wood, floor, walls, and ceiling. The walls are wooden studs. It's all fiberglass bat insulation. Again, very much a vintage style construction technique. Now it's old, but there's nothing wrong with that type of construction as long as it's done right, with that being the caveat. Now this particular model, the S16 BHR, is a popular family style floor plan because it has a dinette up front and a pair of bunk beds out back for the kids. One of the accessories we always encourage people to choose is an awning. In this case, this one comes equipped with a very nice powered awning by Carefree of Colorado. It's an option and it's definitely worth investing in. It has one external storage compartment that goes up about as far as the front of the compartments, the wheel wells on the inside. It's not really huge, but it's enough to store things that you'd rather not have inside the trailer or in your tow vehicle. It's got the really nice white white metal wheels that are a vintage, kind of a vintage style, dates back to the 70s thereabouts, but it looks more vintage than some of the more modern cast aluminum wheels today, for example. Another item which always puzzles us why manufacturers of trailers do not include it as a standard feature is a spare tire. How anybody could want to tow a trailer without any kind of a spare tire is beyond me, but apparently that's what the manufacturers, they play that little game. This is an option. We highly recommend it. This trailer is very much like most other lightweight travel trailers like this. Now, for example, it has a portable table here, which is a little bit wobbly. I think the legs need to be adjusted, but the nice thing is you can use it outside, or when you want to turn this into a dinette up front, the legs fold up, the table drops down on the support bars, and you've got a bed for the adults up front, for example. And if you need a little extra leg room or girth room, you can move it over nicely. Now the colors on the fabrics here and the pattern, that sort of looks like a vintage style color and pattern. The same color is used on the pillows back on the two bunk beds back there, and the valances, of course. The inside of this trailer is very much like a traditional trailer, so that's why we would call this one at best a vintage style trailer. The tabletops, the cabinetry, all the woodwork, everything is very much like you would see on a traditional lightweight trailer today. The kitchen over there has a really nice little two-burner range top, single bowl sink, very practical for a small trailer like this. Nice piece of open countertop above the refrigerator, a little bit of storage up above. Up front here, there's no storage cabinets overhead, and that's really kind of nice because it opens this up and makes it very spacious for a smaller trailer like this. There are two bunk beds in the curbside rear corner. Over on the street side in the corner is an enclosed bath that's a dry bath, which is pretty cool. Over next to the bathroom, there's a really nice tall hanging clothes closet, bigger than you find in some trailers, even larger than this, I might add. So you have plenty of room for hanging your clothes or the clothes for your kids. On the curb side, there's a storage cabinet directly below the stereo, and it's close to the vehicle control center with your level checks and so forth, and control for the water pump, and your thermostat for your furnace. Now, this may be vintage style, but it includes all of the modern amenities, most of which are options. Got a wonderful air conditioner overhead. For a small trailer like this, it should keep it really cool in here. Microwave oven. I mean, it has all the luxuries that you expect in a modern, even lightweight, ultralight trailer. So if something that you can go camping in and kind of has that vintage feel about it is something you have in mind, even if it isn't strictly speaking a retro style, but it's kind of got that feel and it looks a little different than what you find elsewhere in the campground. The Cerro Scotty. It's an old popular brand with a new face. To learn more about the Scotty trailer, log on to our website at rollinontv.com.
We hope you enjoyed this week's program. And for more information on anything you saw on the show, along with additional videos and stories from current and past shows, visit our website at rollinontv.com. You can also join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. As usual, this has been another fun production.